If the person you love most in this world suddenly became possessed, would you have what it takes to save them? That's exactly the situation I found myself in after discovering an indie horror game called Exorcist Candy. What started as an ordinary day quickly spiraled into every parent's worst nightmare. This is Exorcist Candy. And when I tell you nothing could prepare me for what was to come next, I really mean it. The game begins with us waking up to a loud noise. And once we understand what's going on, we actually go back to sleep again. 30 minutes later and we are awakened to our daughter's scream coming from the next room over. Then we get the objective to check on Rosia. When we get to her room, she tells us that someone was in her room. When we ask her where he is now, she says I don't know. So in order to ensure her safety, we decide to check the rest of the rooms in the house. Then we get the objective to talk to Rosia, and once we go back up to talk to her, we tell her that we didn't see anyone and that all the doors are locked. Then we propose the idea of reading her a bedtime story so that she will go back to sleep. Naturally, she agrees, and we end up playing a little mini game where you have to drag your mouse across the words to read the book. A fun mechanic nonetheless. Once we finish reading the bedtime story, we end up going to bed. At around 1 a.m. we end up waking up to Rosia screaming again. This time when we come back in her room, she says that he came back and tried to take her. Further solidifying the proof, she shows us a picture of him. And instead of being a good dad, we ignored our daughter and ultimately went back to our room. But as soon as we stepped foot in the hallway, wait, where's Rosia? What the fuck? And call it a hunch, but I'm pretty sure curiosity got the best out of me here. With our daughter missing, the only logical thing for us to do is to search the rest of the house to make sure she's not here. But when we went to search the basement, we found Rosia lying on the basement floor. That's a bit weird, but I guess we have no choice but to carry her back to her bed, cause that's the more logical thing to do instead of checking up on our daughter. Once we place her in her bed, she starts talking to us in her sleep. She asks us if we could read her a story, and naturally we agree. With the book in hand, we quickly lock in another session of bedtime stories. But as soon as we finish the book, something unexpected occurred. It seems like our daughter got possessed, and with quick thinking we immediately run to get the cross. But as soon as we grab the cross and come back to her door, Rosia just forces the door closed. Realizing that there's no way we're getting in that room, we decide to put the cross back and we are told to exorcise Rosia with the Bible. We then go to grab the Holy Bible and we make our way back up to Rosia's room. And we tell Rosia that we have another bedtime story for her. Rosia finally opens the door and we start reading the Holy Bible to her. Unbeknownst to her that we were actually performing the exorcism. We then get to play another unique mini game where you have to draw a cross. Once I figured out exactly how to do it, I just logged in and we got this done pretty fast. It didn't last long though, as Rosia ended up getting up and throwing us against the wall. We wake up roughly an hour later, and when we talk to Rosia, she says that we hurt her and she was sad about it. We apologize and say that maybe we can get some candy to make it up to her. She agrees, and we are told to mix candy with holy water. And in order to do this, we need to use the cross in the Bible to bless the water and then toss the candy inside. We first head downstairs to the bathroom to throw the cross in the bathtub, then we turn on the water, go back upstairs to grab the Bible, and head back to the bathtub where we can finally use the cross and the Bible together, prompting us to play another story mini game. And once we finish reading it, we get the objective to find the candy and mix it with the holy water. Once we find the candy, we are able to take it back to the bathtub and toss it inside, finally completing our concoction. Real quick, I'd like to take this time to ask you to please drop a like and subscribe. These videos take a long time to make, so any support is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Now let's get back into the video. Finally making our way back into Rosia's room, we are able to give her the candy and she just eats it as if it's a normal lollipop. And it would seem like Rosia just ended up dying. And once we realize this, we have no choice but to perform CPR. This time all we had to do was push space. And once we pushed space enough, we realized that Rosia wasn't waking up ever again. And even though we did everything we could, we come to the conclusion that we simply couldn't do anything about this situation. We broke down into tears and ultimately decided to give Rosia a proper burial. First we wrapped up her body using a blanket, and then we carried her to the basement. While preparing everything, we decided to sit her body on an empty container until we finally finished everything we had to do. Using the crowbar, we were able to dig up a piece of the floorboard, and then using the shovel we removed some of the dirt so that we can make an opening to toss her body in. Somehow we've come to the conclusion that Rosia is still alive, so we decide to jump in the hole after her. Pure stupidity, I know, but if it makes us feel better, I guess. After we woke up, we decided to head back upstairs to Rosia's room. Feeling relieved, we grab our daughter and pick her up and start talking to her. We ask her where's the ugly thing, and we said that we'll kick his ass if it shows his face again. And I guess we didn't realize that it was standing beside us the entire time. It's finally time for one last ass whooping. But just before we lay our hands on him, Rosia stops us, telling us not to hurt him. She says that he's nice because he gave her candy. But it doesn't seem like Buddy came to play any games. Rosia tells us that everything was a misunderstanding, that he has a daughter too. Apparently his daughter looks exactly like Rosia, and we see the picture frame showing both of them. And I think by now it's fairly obvious that we killed his daughter instead of exorcising our daughter. Rosia then asks one question that completely destroyed the mood. Have you seen her? And with a quick shake of our head indicating no, that was the end of the game. Exorcist Candy. Alright man, you guys know the drill. If everything goes well, I'll catch you guys next week. But if not, I'll see you guys when I see you. Alright man, I'm going to bed.